Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is James and today I am doing my March TBR as well as my March challenge. I want to start doing like a monthly challenge type of thing. So I would draw something out of a hat and that would be what I have to do for the month. However, for this month, for March, I have decided to do 31 books in 31 days because I am delulu and why not? I can try it. Am I gonna do it? Probably not. But I'm going to try. So first up, I will be finishing my Percy Jackson read through, starting off with The Hammer of Thor, which is book 2 in the Magnus Chase trilogy. I'm only 52 pages into it, so I'm not going to like restart it or anything for this, just because it's only 52 pages. I've only just met Alex. Yeah, and then it will go into The Ship of the Dead, which is book 3 and the last book in the trilogy. And then it's the Trials of Apollo series. There's 5 of them. The Hidden Oracle, The Dark Prophecy, The Burning Maze, The Tyrant's Tomb, and The Tower of Nero. And then after that is The Sun and the Star. This is a standalone adventure based in the Percy Jackson universe. It follows Nico and Will. I'm excited to read this one. And the last book in my read through, Percy Jackson and the Chalice of the Gods, Percy Jackson book 6. Yeah, buying this book is what prompted me to start doing the Percy Jackson read through. So I'm very excited to read that. And the rest of the books are standalones because I need to read all of my standalones. Well, either standalones, well, there's only one book in the series out so far. And the first one of that is Akathar's Greatest Trick by Jason Dorrow, I think it's pronounced. He's an author I found on TikTok, and I thought it sounded great, so I bought it, and I cannot wait to read it. Yay. It's kind of thick. It's a thick boy. So this is gonna be read on one of my days off. Yeah. Then we have The Hurricane Wars by Thea Guanzon. I believe this is book 1 in a series, but Shiran J. Zhao has reviewed it and has loved it, so I am very excited to read this because I love their books. And it's so pretty. Next is Divine Might by Natalie Haynes. This is a non-fiction book. It goes through the myths of several of the Greek goddesses. And yeah, I don't know what else to say about it other than it is signed and I love it and it's one of my prized possessions. Yeah, I do believe it is a printed signature. But I love Greek mythology and I've been meaning to read more non-fiction, so I picked this up and I can't wait to read it. Next is The Wayward Sisters by Kate Hodges. This is a Macbeth retelling and it sounds amazing. It's set in Inverness, which is only like 4 hours away from me. Am I going to travel to Inverness when I read this? More than likely. I need to get out of the house more. So, yeah. But it's a Macbeth retelling. I don't know much more about it. The cover looks amazing. Cannot wait to read it. Next is Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing by Matthew Perry. I was looking for this book for months before I managed to get it. And I managed to get it like 2-3 months after he passed away. So I love Friends. I first watched Friends when I was like 12, 13 years old. I watched it all the way through. I haven't been able to watch it again since he passed away, but I do want to try soon. Hopefully it's not too painful. But Matthew Perry, I loved Matthew Perry. He was a great actor. Chandler's been my favourite since the first episode. And I cannot wait to read it. I say that for everything, but I honestly can't wait to read all of this. Next is Atalanta by Jennifer Saint. This will be my first book by Jennifer Saint. It is a Greek retelling. It is a Greek retelling of Atalanta. Yeah, it sounds amazing. I love Greek retellings, like Greek mythology retellings, so this is right up my alley. Next is A Life on Our Planet by David Attenborough. I only picked this up the other day from my Lua Free Library at work, and I am excited to read it. It's I think it's his newest memoir. He was 94 when he wrote it, and it was written in 2020. So, oh geez, he'd be 98 now. And that's the naked hardcover. It's got his signature on it, so that's cool. Yeah. And it's basically a plea from him to us. It's like, hey, we gotta save our planet. So I can't wait to read that. Next up is Voices of the Dead by Ambrose Parry. This is set in 1853 Edinburgh. I live in Edinburgh, so that's nice. Like, I open it to the map and I know exactly what all of those shits look like. But it's murder mystery, it's spiritualism. It sounds amazing. So I can't wait to read it. It's also kind of thick. Next is The Things We Do to Our Friends by Heather Darwent. I am very excited to read this. I got this back in January, and when I picked it up at the Waterstones, one of the employees came up to me and was raving about how good this was and how they had sold out of their paperbacks, but they had managed to find some hardcovers in the back, and I was one of the lucky few to get it. I was like, great, awesome, I'm gonna buy it. And it sounds amazing. It's contemporary. Like, a girl moves to Edinburgh and makes some friends, and they do weird shit. So, yeah. Can't wait to read it. Next is The Ghost Theatre by Matt Osman. I first saw this book at work. I work at Amazon, and there's so many of these copies on the shelves, but my copy's better because it is signed, and it's actual on paper signed and not printed signature like the Divine Might one is. I mean, look at it. I love signatures. It looks so great. And this sounds like an interesting story. I'm not entirely sure what it's about. But I've seen it everywhere, and I saw it at Waterstones, and then it was signed, so I bought it. Yeah, and now every time I see it on the shelves at work, it's like, oh, I own that, and it's signed. And we have Swordcatcher by Cassandra Clare. This is her first book since starting the Shadowhunter Chronicles to not be part of the Shadowhunter Chronicles. It's an entirely new series. And I'm excited. I love the Shadowhunter Chronicles. I'm going to be doing a read through of that sometime this year. There's so many of those books, man. There's so many of those books. Yeah. But it is a thick boy. And oh, it just sounds interesting. I love fantasy. If it's fantasy, I'm probably going to rate it like at least 3.5 stars. So I've got high hopes for this because I love Cassandra Clare. Next up is Love and Saffron by Kim Fay. This is an epistolary novel. It's between two pen pals who share recipes and fall in love. And I love it, and it's a tiny book, so it's like a good palette cleanser between my massive hardcovers. I've been wanting to read this for a while since I've picked it up at the works, but I just haven't had the opportunity to read it, so I'm going to read it this month. Probably like a Monday or Tuesday read when I got work, because it's very small and easy to read. Next is Loveless by Alice Osman. This will be my first Alice Osman read. I have a couple of her books. I think I also have Solitaire and Radio Silence. I haven't read any of the Heartstopper novels, graphic novels or whatever, but I believe this is about a girl who's asexual, and as an asexual myself, that's very interesting, and I want to read this book so badly. I just haven't, and I don't know why, so I'm taking this opportunity to read it now, and yeah, cannot wait to read it. Next up is Artemis by Andy Weir. I have not read The Martian, but I have watched the movie, and it was amazing, and I love it. Actually, I only watched the movie because I saw clips of it on TikTok, and I was like, oh, that looks good. I'm gonna watch that. And then I watched Interstellar like right after that, and there were 2 Matt Damons in a row. It was like surprise Matt Damon. Surprise Matt Damon's my favorite type of Matt Damon. But I am very interested in this. I want to get into more sci-fi. I'm mainly fantasy. I want to get more into more sci-fi, so I've got a sci-fi book. I think this is my only sci-fi book on here. So I'm failing that, but whatever. I don't think I have that many sci-fi books on my TBR, to be honest. And I'm trying not to buy more books until I get to like 0, and my TBR is currently at over 400, which I have to move on Thursday, which I'm not looking forward to. Artemis, cannot wait. I do love the goddess. Next is Electra by Jennifer Saint. This is not a myth that I know. Like, I've heard the name before, but it's not one that I've looked into myself personally, so I'm very excited to see like what it is. I'm sure I have heard about the myths of Electra before, I just cannot remember them, and it'll come to me as I'm reading it. But I don't know if I'm going to read this one first or Atalanta first, so this is potentially going to be my first Jennifer Saint book, but both of them are on for the month. This next book is Memphis by Tara M. Stringfellow. This is a book about how a girl goes back to her birthplace of Memphis and tries to figure out her past. And I got this at the works. It was like £3, and I got it because of the cover, and then I've been like, oh, I should read that, and just haven't read it. It's a lot. That's basically my entire TBR, to be honest. But I'm very interested in this. I need to get into more contemporary because I do like contemporary. I'll read basically anything that isn't horror because I don't like horror. But I do need to read more contemporary. I think I have a handful of contemporary in this list. But yeah. Memphis. Next is In the Time of Foxes by Joe Lennon. I honestly have no idea what this book is about. I picked it up from the works because I believe this was part of the 3 for £6 deal. And I liked the cover. I liked the premises. Like, reading it now, I have no idea what it's about. It's got like 5, 6 different people in different parts of the world. One's on Mars. And it sounds interesting. Yeah, so it is contemporary, which I want to read more of. So it's on here. Yeah. Next is My Killer Vacation by Tessa Bailey. This is going to be my first ever Tessa Bailey. I have so many of her books and I have not read any of them. So I'm going to read this. It's one of her shorter ones. And then later on in the year, I'm going to maybe do a Tessa Bailey read through of the rest of her books. Yeah. I believe this is about like a murder mystery, and I think there's like a storm happening. I don't know if I am confusing this with an episode of Leverage. Probably, because I think I heard about this when I was watching a Leverage episode. I have no idea. I just remember that there was a bit of controversy about the cover. So next is From the Embers by Ali Martinez. This is about 2 people that survive a fire and then stuff happens. It's another contemporary. I believe maybe romance. It just says fiction on the back, so. Yeah, so this is just another one that's been on my TBR for a while and I just need to get it off. And I am interested in it, so I didn't donate it the other day, which I don't think that video will be out yet. Yeah. Now this one I am excited about. It's Bride by Ali Hazelwood. I am so excited for this. I have read most of her shit. I have all of her stuff. I do need to read Love on the Brain and then the novellas. But this is, I believe it's Omegaverse. I love Omegaverse. I am so glad that it's starting to be more mainstream because it's batshit insane. I cannot wait to read this. I cannot wait to read this. It's probably going to be like one of my first reads of the month. I'm so excited to read this. Next is The Surviving Sky by Kritika H. Rao. I don't know what it's about, man. I picked it up because it was pretty, and I chose it today because I needed another thick book for one of my days off. So I believe it's the first book in a series. I don't believe anything else is out yet, but I think it's about a floating island or whatever. Yes, it is. But look at that cover. It looks so good. So that's the next one. And lastly, we have So Let Them Burn by Camilla Cole. This came out in January. And it sounds amazing. My leg is dead. It's post story. Like, she's already gone on her quest to save the world. And now she has to do it again with her sister. There's dragons. Her sister bonded with an enemy dragon. It sounds amazing. I cannot wait to read it. Like, look at that cover too. Like, oh my god. That looks so good. That looks so good. And that is all of the books. I would hold them up to show you, but there's way too many of them. 31 to be exact. Yeah, so I am in the middle of moving. I'm moving on Thursday. So the day this will be going up. And yeah, I'm excited. yeah. I feel like I got a very good mix between fantasy and other genres. I am a fantasy person. I absolutely adore fantasy. So I need more books that aren't fantasy. I feel like I got like quite a few historical fiction as well, with that mix of fantasy in it. So I'm excited. I'm excited. And some contemporary that I'm excited for. And then a couple romance and that one sci-fi book. Yeah. So yeah, I will be doing weekly updates, and I'll be in and out of sprints all month. So you can track my progress through sprints that I'm on and the ones that I host. And I'll be doing a vlog type style thing and be posting every week, one every week. Yeah. So if you liked, if you enjoyed, please like and comment below. And please subscribe. I stream every Thursday, not this Thursday, the Thursday that this comes up, just because of the move. But I will be streaming again next Thursday at 10 a.m. GMT, and which is 5 a.m. EST, Eastern Standard Time, which is, I believe, New York. Yeah. So thank you everyone for watching. Bye.